All right, welcome to another edition of the Flagship podcast, and I have special guest with me today, Pam Clendenen. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So Pam is with Ruby's Café and Bakery in downtown Anderson, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And Pam is one of our pitch contestants for our pitch on February 20th at 6 p.m. We'd love for you to come out and join us for that. And we're just going to take a little bit of time and get to know you and your business a little bit.
Okay.
So Pam, tell us, how long have you had Ruby's, and just tell us a little bit about the history of the business.
Okay. We purchased the building in June of 23 on a whim. Had no intention of owning our own cafe and bakery and beautiful old building. I was still working at City Hall in the controller's office. My husband, a retired fireman, carpet cleaner. And we just happened to be collecting monies for the Gaslight Festival, the revival of the Gaslight Festival in 2023. I was with Shelley Lavelle Slade. We were across the street from this building at FC Tucker and ran into Judge Newman, who had the building up for sale, got into a conversation with Judge Newman, and all of a sudden, I wanted to be a cafe, bakery, day spa building owner.
So there was no bakery at the time, or there was, but it didn't have a place?
No.
Okay.
The building had sat empty for probably, I'm going to guess, about 10 years, 8 to 10 years. Judge Newman had some nonprofits meeting in the basement of the building. But where the kitchen is for our cafe and bakery, I believe was maybe the coat room for the church. So we had to plumb it, put in electricity. Yeah, the building was not in good shape at all.
Sure. Okay. So had you ever owned a business?
Never.
Okay. And never a restaurant, bakery type thing?
Never. But my love language has always been food.
Okay.
So hidden way down deep, which I didn't know it needed to come up to the top. I'd always been in a bookkeeping, finance, and so forth. But Martha Stewart's one of my heroes, pioneer woman. And I just love cafes and bakeries. I love fresh baked goods. And we really, in our community, didn't have a brick and mortar building to just walk in and get a fresh pie, a piece of cake.
Okay.
Other than a chain store.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, you hear all the time about people that make your hobby your job, and it's so fun because then you get to do it forever. It's a little different being a business owner. So what's that been like for you? Is it as fun? Are you still cooking, or are you just running? Are you doing a little bit of everything?
No, I can execute a great plan.
Okay.
I knew when we made this offer, like I said, never dreamed of owning our own business, let alone a cafe and bakery. But I had my menu made like within 2 days. I knew that I wanted to give our community, Anderson, Madison County, those recipes from bygone day restaurants, the Cabbage Rose, Gaither's, the Dorothy Blevins shop, the local caterer, Margot Royer, who has the best broccoli salad. So I knew that I wanted those food items and didn't know if people would be gracious enough to give those to me. And fortunately, everybody was gracious enough to give those to me. And Joy Blevins, who I didn't even know, I just reached out to her through Facebook and asked her if she would be able to give me her mother's Dorothy Blevins cake recipe. And she sent it to me 2 days later. And she comes in, about once a month, once every other month, and it's just emotional for both of us. She loves it because a lot of the color scheme is what her mother had at the Dorothy Blevins shop.
Okay.
And as an owner, knowing that you're responsible for 13 employees and livelihoods of people, if I think about it too much, it's some pressure. But when I look at Ruby's and I see what it's doing, and the pressure goes away.
Sure.
Because I have employees that are more than employees. They're like family. We have our Ruby's family.
Yeah.
And they love being there.
Sure.
And I never dreamed that I would have a second family like this. And we do now.
So when you started, did you have a pretty full staff at the beginning, or did it start small?
It started small and grew
Okay.
to accommodate what kind of basically the demand was. So I knew that I needed some bakers, and I already had, within like 2 weeks of opening, I had my lead baker who I just happened to meet in the restaurant at our community table. I was in there for lunch because I was still working. I planned on retiring in spring of 24, and I ended up retiring in January of 24 because we opened November 4th of 23, and I couldn't take it.
Okay.
My heart was at Ruby's.
Sure.
So I knew that I needed a server, and I was just told that this lady is an excellent server and she needs a job, and she's been there ever since. She actually has a marketing degree and thought she was going to leave to go back into marketing, and she did. She gave me her 2-week notice, went to a marketing firm in Fishers, and called the next day and said, "This doesn't feel right. I feel like I need to be at Ruby's." And she's been there ever since, and she's amazing. And servers don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we negotiated something that would make it possible. Of course, my husband was like, "Pay her whatever she wants. We got to have her there." And the customer relations, I didn't dream of that being a business owner either. I knew that I wanted that place where people would come in and feel at home, and you would know them by name. And we've done that now to the point that so many customers are such good friends now, and they've gifted us so many things: china, dishes, cabinets, tables, chairs, tablecloths, which we need so desperately. So now when they come in, there's a belonging.
Sure.
There's a sense of they're part of it. You know, they can see the chairs that maybe they weren't using, or the table that was sat in their garage and they didn't know what they were going to do with, or tablecloths that nobody else wanted in their family. They're now being used. So the customer, I always wanted that, and I would see it, and honestly, I'm kind of corny, like Hallmark movies, and I feel like that's something that's been created, not just by me, but by our staff, by the people that work there. I hear them call customers by first names and joke around, and then they bring other family members in and extended friends, and they have events there. They feel like it's part of them now. So it's truly a place for community, and that's what Judge Newman wanted when he sold it to us. That was his dream. He wanted people in there. So I told him before he passed that I'm just finishing what he started, and I'm going to make him proud. And everybody's made him proud. Everybody that's been a part of this, from our bakers, our cooks, our servers, our maintenance team, our dishwasher.
That's awesome to hear you talk about it in that way. And a lot of times, I think when people think of business, all they think about is the numbers, and they think about finances. But so much of business is the culture you create, and that's all you're talking about.
Absolutely.
The vision that you create, and that attracts the right people, and then the opportunity to be able to provide jobs for a community, and even though that has a certain weight to it that can keep you up a little bit at times. At the same time, it's an incredible privilege to have that kind of ability and gift, and to let God use you to provide for people's incomes.
Yes.
It's pretty special.
And they're happy. They're and we are all really kind to each other and thoughtful. It's a place where we're family. And it is a privilege to be able to serve the community and to serve these employees and know that they're happy doing what they're doing. And you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You feel good about coming in. I don't have people that call in sick. I'm going to say a prayer that continues, and I didn't just jinx myself. And granted, we've had turnover.
Sure.
But our lead staff is still there, and they've been there from the beginning.
And that's one thing that we're trying to do at Flagship, is constantly raise the value of entrepreneurship and help people to see that often someone has They got something in them. You mentioned you didn't realize it was in you,
Right.
but the opportunity came up and it brought it out of you. And just this idea that there are people that are gifted and wired, and the experience that you have in relationships sometimes can position you to be able to make a really significant impact in a community through business.
Absolutely. I feel like every job I've ever had was preparing me for this. One of my first jobs, I was a busser at Ponderosa, and then Bonanza. And then I was a group sales coordinator at the Holiday Inn and worked with banquets and food cost, and food and beverage managers. And then going to the city and working in finance and bookkeeping. And then a small stint at Intersect, working with nonprofits and understanding that there's a need for something to offer our community, and there's a lot of low income, which there are in every city, families. So when I think of our food and the pricing that we give and having it downtown, where a lot of people, they still have kind of a bad connotation of downtown. And I'm hoping to be a part of changing that, and I have. And we do a Facebook Live a couple times a month. And one thing I ask the employees, because we present our employees, and talk about what they like about working there. And I always say, or have the interviewer, I'm on the other side of the camera. I'm the one that does the videoing. But we always ask, how do they feel about downtown? And it's great. I did not know that Anderson downtown was so awesome, because we are that entrance to downtown from the west. Yes. And it takes on a whole new meaning when you work downtown and you see things that are thriving and happening. Yeah, and I'm glad to be downtown. And I've always been downtown because I've been at City Hall. So I always knew how great it was. Just a lot of people didn't know how great it was. And to provide a local eatery that has that collection of all those bygone day restaurants, they can experience and get that warm, fuzzy feeling and bring back that memory of when they ate at Dorothy Blevins or they ate at Cabbage Rose or Gaither's, and it lives on in Ruby's.
So I have to ask, because I live in Pendleton, and we used to go to
Cabbage Rose.
Cabbage Rose. Do you have the chicken velvet soup?
Yes, we do.
You do. And do you have the taco salad that's sweet?
I don't.
Okay.
But I think I know that ingredient.
We found it out.
Oh, you
And
did?
we do it at home.
Okay, awesome.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you off.
Thank you.
Off screen.
Okay, because I think we.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Beth and Gary were so gracious, and yes, they shared the chicken salad, which you can't get that chicken salad anywhere. You can only get that chicken salad at Ruby's because it was their recipe. The chicken velvet soup. They didn't give me the recipe, but I made it, and then they told me what it was missing.
Okay.
And man, did it kick it up ever. Yeah. And then they gave me the tricks of the trade on how to prepare the chicken for the chicken soup.
Okay.
And the ingredients that go into it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my wife and I are definitely going to have to make a stop. So I always ask this question, and you've kind of almost answered it, but I want to let you maybe speak into it a little bit more. I always ask people, what's your why? And you mentioned a little bit about the interaction that happened and the purchasing of the building and kind of the restoring of it. Is there any other why part of that, or maybe what kicked that in for you?
I think after hearing Judge Newman tell us a couple of stories, all of a sudden I felt like he was passing on something to me to be the caretaker. And I feel like it was an obligation that I needed to fulfill. And it's bringing me the joy that I never expected. And he knew that if this happened and we got the building and we did everything I said that we were going to do, the feeling would be there. And we have about the first 6-9 months we were open, someone cried about every week. And it was someone coming into it that just loved it being there and loved the aesthetics of it. And it's not new, it's all the mismatched furniture that Judge Newman left, and I've either painted or recovered or something. But it brings it together in such a cozy, warm way. So I'll say it's eclectic, not mismatched. But I think also why I had this, I can't explain it. It's like a calling. And, we all have those opportunities that we either let fear set in and tell us, no, we can't do that, or we're too old to do that, or it would just take way too much work to do that, or who am I going to get to believe in me? And when you take fear out of the equation and that opportunity knocks, you just have to listen, because it only knocks once sometimes. And I felt like this was that opportunity knocking at my door, and I had to answer it. And I had to do it and just take one step at a time, one day at a time, and execute that plan. So I could see the end result. If you walked into the building, if you saw it beforehand, But I didn't see that. I saw what it could be.
Yes.
I saw people sitting outside in the chairs under the umbrellas. And that's what Judge Newman asked me, because all I said was, please don't sell that to someone and turn it into apartments or offices or someone from out of state that lets it sit for a tax write-off. And he turned the question on me and said, well, what do you see? And all of a sudden, I saw pumpkins and scones and mums, because it was coming, we were coming into fall. And I said, I can see people eating outside, and I can see like a real bakery and cafe and friends and family coming there to eat, and downtown people having a nice restaurant to eat at since Cabbage Rose is gone. And all of a sudden, he immediately believed it could happen. And then Shelley, who I was with, she gave me faith, and then you get other neighbors involved, and my husband actually was on board with it. And then I knew, okay, this is just meant to be. But yeah, you just have to, I think all of us have a calling. All of us have a mission. All of us have something. We have something inside us that's just dying to get out. We just have to figure out what that is. And you know it if you listen and just kind of shut everything off, especially fear.
Yeah, so true. And it's so powerful how someone can speak that into us.
Yes.
That just shows you, again, how you never know the kind of influence you're going to have. And who knows the influence you're having? People are coming in there and they're coming alive because of it, and the experiences they're having, and what that will inspire in others for them to step out and do. You know what I mean?
Yes. If it inspires just one person to see that old building or that old home or that old piece of property and realize that if they
what could I do? Or,
right.
How could I be a part of this?
Exactly. And what's inside them? Everybody has a gift.
Yep.
We just don't always take the time to slow down and figure it out. Sometimes we do what we think we're supposed to do or what's convenient. But yeah, if it just inspires one person to say, you know what, I've always loved whatever, I'm going to see what I can do with that. And the joy that it does bring. And it's hard work.
Sure.
I mean, it's, but boy, is the reward there. And especially when you see who isn't happy going into a cafe and bakery or a beautiful old building that, it's living its best life again. And if you can breathe life into something that's already out there and make it the best that it can be, and we've done this on a shoestring budget. And again, with gifts and the stuff that Judge Newman left, we would have never been able to open had he not left all these tables and chairs and pews and cabinets. He even left a sectional downstairs. He had a couple of nonprofits that were meeting in the basement. And I wanted the sectional to be brought up because let's say you've got kids, toddler kids, to go out for breakfast on a Saturday morning, probably is a little bit challenging.
Yes.
So we have a kids area. Judge Newman left this table that is a perfect kids table. I just painted it, put some crayons in it. We have a cabinet with books and games and toys. So the parents can sit at a table eating, and they've got the soft couch there. They've got the little kids table. I don't care if they wreak havoc on it. And they have. And we just clean it up when they leave. We want the family to sit there and enjoy a nice meal and let the kids do what they want to do. I also love it. We have a couple of ladies that come in about once a month. They both work from home on their laptops. They come in, they get their lunch, and then they go over to the couch and just work on their laptops. Maybe drink a latte or a cappuccino while they're working. And I love that vision. And at first they would apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, I said, no. That's what it's here for. Close your eyes, take a little nap if you want. That's what the couch is there for. It's for comfort. It's for feeling comfortable and working, sitting, thinking, reading a book, whatever. I want it to be a place where people can linger. They don't have to get up and leave right away. And we started off with the seating capacity of about 45, and we can now seat 108 in our large dining area. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Big question. So you have given an incredible gift to the city, and you're doing a great thing. It's making such a great impact, and so many people love the bakery and talk about it. You are applied for the pitch.
Yes.
And we had 36 businesses apply, and we selected 7. So you're one of 7. If you win, it's $25,000 prize. What's the plan of what's the vision of the step it will help you with?
Well, the marketing aspect is amazing because we do not have a marketing budget. We have Facebook and we have word of mouth. So the marketing aspect of it from Flagship would be absolutely life-changing for the business, for employees. The other aspect is putting the money back into the building for a movie theater and live theater production, meaning that we have 102 beautiful theater seats in a balcony. I'm sure they were built in 1927 with the church. They were put in there attached. And I think they knew how to make them ergonomically comfortable as well because they're comfortable to sit in. Judge Newman left 2 probably 14 feet movie screens. When I looked at the theater seating, I call it theater seating, not a balcony, and I looked at the screen, it was just like a vision. We need a movie theater. So I did some research. I can't just go out and rent a movie, DVD. I go through a production company called Swank Motion Pictures, meaning that I could get current movies, I could get classic movies, I could see kids' birthday parties up there with movies, matinees. So I would use that money to bring that to useful code.
Okay.
So I had an architect come in, and I was really worried that it was going to be an astronomical price or we would have to do a lot. Not at all. We need to raise the balcony ledge up to 42 inches, which is about a foot higher than what it is with some tempered glass. We need to get an exit sign, a handrail, and some LED tape on the steps. Hang the screen, get the shades up on the beautiful big windows we have, and we've got a theater. For the live theater production, we could actually have a dinner theater, which I think we would be the only one in Madison County that you could actually go in and have a nice dinner and watch a live play.
Okay.
But behind the stage, now I did pay to have the steps cut in the stage because one of my goals was to bring back style show luncheons, and we've had 2 with the new boutique downtown, Dia Nicky's Boutique. So the steps are already cut in for the stage. But behind the stage, we need walls repaired, ceiling repair, we need electricity, but that could be the area for the actresses to go back and change in their costume, keep the props back there. We have 2 doors that were utilized by the church when it was a church. So the doorways are already there to go back to this area.
Okay.
And then I thought, after working at Intersect and learning about just the demographics of Anderson and to make this place welcoming for a tiered pricing, meaning that if a family can't afford to come and buy the dinner to watch the live production, maybe they want to eat at home. Well, they can seat in the balcony, the theater seating, and just be there for the production. Other people that want to come for the dinner can pay a different amount and have the meal and the theater. So it serves two demographics, basically, the people that can afford to do that and the other people that either cannot afford it or they just choose not, they just want to be there for the production. The movies, oh goodness, I could just see people coming into this beautiful building. And then I'd love to bring back intermissions. Have people take a break during the movie, not just get popcorn and candy, but maybe they want a piece of pie or a piece of cake or a cookie, or take home something for breakfast the next morning and talk about the movie they saw in the beautiful old building that they saw the movie in, and create memories for adults and kids, lifelong memories about this beautiful old building that offers so much now. There's that potential, and I didn't know about the pitch until two ladies from Flagship, were promoting it with businesses, and they walked in. And I'll be honest, I was pretty intimidated because my first question was, well, do a lot of people apply for that? And then I thought, I'm not a competitive person. Activity breeds activity. The more things we have downtown, the more restaurants, the more good eateries, the better it is for all of us. So did I want to compete against other people going for this money? And my staff was like, oh my gosh, you have to do it. Yes. And then I told myself fear was setting in, afraid, well, what if I'm told no? Well, that's okay. That's okay. But the possibility of actually having these things that I already had quotes for, I have already checked into, but it was like a long-term plan.
Sure.
Now it could actually happen.
Yeah.
And we could utilize these parts of the building and have more things for community to do. So I did. And I was thrilled when found out I was one of the finalists. And I'll use that money to bring that theater to life and movie theater. And then the classes, the talent that is out there that maybe even adults don't even know they have. Kids don't even know they have. Do some drama classes. Do some plays, for parents when their kids are taking the classes. And make the classes available where mom and dad can come up and eat while, Susie and Jimmy are downstairs taking this drama class or this little 6-week program to put on this performance for their parents or for the community. So.
Well, Pam, you are a visionary. I mean, I can see it already, and you've already done it, and I know you're going to do it.
Thank you.
So just excited and so glad that you're going to be a part of the pitch, and hope you come out and join us on February 20th at 6 p.m. at the Flagship facility for our pitch event. And Pam, thanks for taking a little bit of time just to share with us.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. My complete pleasure.
And we know you're on 8th Street downtown.
122 West 8th Street.
Okay. And then we can find you on Facebook. It is
Ruby's Café and Bakery.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Super. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Flagship podcast, sponsored by Pinnacle Systems. Visit our YouTube channel for the full-length video podcast, or find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. New podcasts are posted every month, featuring local leaders from Central Indiana. For more content, follow us on social media at Flagship Enterprise Center. Until next time, thanks for listening.